Casino sa iamodu ni tir el Amir-Ali maraka ele. Yani lingua ni tir sa limni ha udusima ni tir ijem. Est etir legi sermoto us veritas. E didilo quahe es ka Allah salamasa. Grace and greetings, gratitude, wholeness, wellness, abundance, appreciation for listening to another episode of L's Verse. I appreciate you for being. I appreciate you for breathing. I appreciate you for the life and the light that you are. And life is light, and light is love, and love is will. The will of the universe is within inside of you, and you are the only material that matters. You are the greatest fruit of the greatest seed of the greatest plant that has ever grown and blossomed into the I, me, and my you call the you. You are the greatest seed of the greatest fruit of the greatest plant of the greatest tree of all life, because you are of the tree of life, and that light and that life is you. Again, the I, me, and my does not exist. There's no one specific part of the body that you could call I, me, or my. You are the one, and in its totality, it is your destiny to be God. It is your destiny to find within the fulfillment of the knowledge of the self, the one, the many, and the all that is within you, to be that, to be God, to be the deity that you are, that has been written in every sacred scripture, in every sacred piece of literature, in every song and soliloquy. It is your destiny to be God. And how is it your destiny to be God? Well, if in this realm of science that we have accumulated over a certain aspect of time has informed us that if there are 8 trillion individual cells of blood within you, and all of them correspond to a certain frequency to allow for your heart to continue beating without you thinking about it, all of which religates the ions within the self to establish the nervous system within you, the root within you, your toes moving about, your mouth moving about, your eyes moving about without you even thinking about it. That is supreme intelligence. And within that supreme intelligence lies the deity within the self, lies the deity within the whole of the self. And again, you are the only material that matters, because you are the only material that is matter in this earth realm, in this aspect of light as well as darkness, superimposed, and everything else in between. If we know individually that we are east of all things, west of all things, north of all things, and south of all things, then that makes you the center of the universe. And the universe is within the self. The universe, the single spoken thought, single spoken song, the single spoken phrase, the single spoken utterance is you, and all thought and all will. And you are the will that will multiply. One's will multiply. So again, it is your destiny to be God, because in all of the supreme intelligence that lies within you, the one becomes the many, and the many becomes the all within the self. 8 trillion cells formed within you without even having to think about it. Your heart doesn't have to think to beat, it wills to exist. Your nervous system doesn't have to be reactivated every day, it wills to exist. Your lungs and your kidneys and your esophagus and your this and that within the self does not have to think to be, it wills to exist. And that is the so-called I, me, and my in the self. And so within the self, you are all. Within the all, you are one. Within the one, you are the many. Within the many, you are all things. And so again, it is your destiny to be God. It is your destiny to will to exist forward. It is your will to exist beyond time, because time does not exist. death does not exist. This realm of light and darkness that we have to go through as far as portals are just as simple as night and day. And so before you were ever a thought, you were consumed within an aspect of darkness that was inside of a womb of another thought. So you were always thought of, you were always cared for, you were always nurtured, you were always nature, and you will always be nature. And so if you are fire, water, air, and earth, then within the ecosystem of the body that you would call fire, water, air, and earth, that is supreme intelligence, and that is divine will. And that divine will wills to exist. It wills to exist in all things. So here in the now, at 32 degrees, 51 minutes, 96 degrees, 51 minutes west, which we would call Dallas, that is the where the I, me, and my could say I am. And so you may be east or west or north or south of those degrees. And so not higher, not lower, not better, not worse, just different. In an aspect of light, you matter. In an aspect of darkness, you matter. And so again, it is your will to be God. And being God, being that deity from within, be that deity from without, knowing and stopping the belief system, stopping the isms and the asms and all this other kind of extra, felonious just bullshit that we construct within the mind that controls us to a certain aspect of darkness and light. So knowing that death doesn't exist, knowing that time doesn't exist, knowing that I, me, and my does not exist, you are the self-source center of all things that is in the universe, and your universe wills to exist. And in that universe, you have a whole ecosystem of nutrients, plants, air, herbs, spices, cellular salts, stones, crystals, oils, and everything else within the self. So if all of that is the matter that is within you, and it is not even telling you to think, but the supreme intelligence within those superimposed is willing you to move forward, the consciousness, the being aware in the mind's mind eye is the driver in a sense, or the operator in a sense. And so operating in the sense of awareness of the whole self, of the elements of nature, of the elements of direction, the cardinal points of north, south, east, and west. It is again your destiny to be and to will into existence your God, your deity, because you are deity, you are God in all forms of light, in all forms of darkness. And there's no one single person, parchment of paper, or any type of literature that can define or describe you except for the you that you call the you, which is the self, the one, the many, and the all. And so be well within, be well without, be well above, be well below, be well in all things, knowing that you are God and it is your destiny. Ashe, I love you because you exist, and one's will multiply in all things. Ashe, Kasino Sa.